Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of week 4 of ALYFE Connects, our very first virtual-only event brought to you exclusively by ALYFE Group. Tonight, we are welcoming a young, up-and-coming star who is riding the wave of one of the fastest-growing social network platforms in modern memory. Eric Löfstedt is here with us to tell us all about why now is the best time to be creating content and expressing yourself, why why believing in yourself is more than just a survival strategy. It's a superpower. And also telling us a little bit about how and why this app is taking over the world so quickly. So please help me welcome Eric.
Hello,
good evening, sir.
Hi. What's up? Hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Hey. I'm doing good. Just had my dinner. I feel good. I feel ready to talk. I'm ready.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're very excited to talk to you, mate. And mostly because I've got to be honest, I mean, I'm not even 30 yet, and you're making me feel old, you know, getting so into this app, which I can't understand for myself. So if anything, I'm personally very excited about this talk because I just want to know what the hell is going on over there with you Gen Zers and your TikToks and your musical parodies and everything else. It's you know, we thought we'd peaked with Instagram and we thought we'd peaked with Instagram, and now it just seems as a whole new platform to get to grips with and become familiar with. So I'm very excited to hear about what you have to say about that, because I know it's been something which has been a big part of your life recently, and I know it's something you're doing almost full time. And I know there's a lot more to you too. So I'm looking forward to uncovering that. But you know, before we get there, dude, how's the last few weeks been for you? How have you found the MCO period for you as far as you know, content creation is concerned?
Well, firstly, I think this whole MCO and this whole lockdown generally, to everyone, it just slows us down no matter what. Because not only, like, for example, if I wanted to make a video, I prefer to go out and think about it because you get more creative. And I can't do that now. And I really like to go out. And it's not only that, I feel just generally not only in creativity wise, in business wise, a lot of things have went downhill really fast, and then I guess we all just had to climb it back up. So like for me, what actually at the start of RMO, it wasn't really that good. I haven't shared this with you yet, but during April, I was supposed to be at Coachella for a project, but the problem is, yeah. So honestly, you've heard about how what RMO mentally hits people. That thing actually hit me really hard. Because to me, 2020, my biggest goal this year was actually to go to Coachella and do this project. I can't actually say more about it. I'll just say it's a Coachella project. But
well, I mean, even that by itself sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, and when like this at the start, it just kills all your jobs, honestly, and slowly you just have to find a way. But one thing, luckily, just like how you said, TikTok is really the app that's revolutionizing things right now. It's a great opportunity for people really to dive in. You've seen so many people that aren't TikTokers join into TikTok just out of boredom. So imagine the people that were already on TikTok and they're like, oh my God, we're already here. Let's go. So honestly, that's been happening to me. I've been trying to create content more, but at the same time, I've been taking this RMO to kind of, how to say, try to take a rest at least just a little bit and slow things down so that I make sure my direction in the future isn't that wrong.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair way of looking at it. You're right. It's I mean, that must have been a killer. I won't make you go into any more detail than that. But yeah, I feel for you.
No worries.
But yeah, a lot of people have found it, exactly as you just pointed out, a lot of people have found it to be a very good time to just reflect and recharge and reset and rest, you know. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, because I mean, looking at your profile, and for anybody who doesn't follow Eric on Instagram, you know, give him a shout out below, and on TikTok too, I'm sure. But like, yeah, dude, you're we'll come to this in a second, because I think this has a lot to do with your background. But like your videos are so high energy, they're so exciting. Like you get really into the you get really into the choreography, shall we say, of it all. And so it's yeah. And so if even you know, so high octane are managing to sort of take a bit of a chill for a little bit, that's good to hear, because I think a lot of people have felt very pressured during this time to be like, oh my God, I'm working from home, I must be doing something productive, I've got to learn a new skill, a new hobby. And it's actually like, no, you can relax, you know, like just use, you're not going to get you're not going to get this time again to rest. But you also make a very good point about everyone's just downloading the app now. I mean, I don't know how they're doing for downloads recently, but at least someone's doing well out of this MCO, right? I can't imagine how many millions of people worldwide have downloaded this thing. But well, and so when you see like a lot of people come onto the platform, like are you kind of wary about what it is they're doing? Are you kind of like, I was here first, or do you welcome the competition? Do you want to see what people are coming up with? Like, how does it work with you?
Okay, to be honest, to me, I really welcome people to join because I started TikTok when honestly there was nobody on TikTok, and I literally even made a group just because there wasn't a community in TikTok. And to see that there's actually even like normal influencers on Instagram, on YouTube that's just jumping into TikTok, there is this side of me that's like, oh no, these very pro people are coming in. They might, how to say, take our place away. But then again, it really, by the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because we're just one community. There's one thing about TikTok that I want to share now is that it's very different when compared to Instagram. I'll use Instagram as the best example because when you think about Instagram, it is more perfection. It is more showing the best part of your life per se, something along those lines, right? But then again, when you turn to TikTok, this is when it works better just generally for people because nobody really cares about perfection. People care about authenticity. People care about you being yourself. People care about you vibing. Honestly, that is TikTok itself. And the fact that it's built upon that type of energy is, it's just, I feel that's one of the reasons TikTok is really just doing that at the moment. So when it comes to
it's people, people are feeling a bit, because you're right. Instagram has become like literally a picture perfect, like perfectly curated, filtered feed, right? Everyone's all about the aesthetic. Everyone's like designing their profile. I mean, I've got to be honest, ALYFE group are guilty of this because we love a nice coordinated feed, and we think we do it quite well. But we plan our strategy in grids of 3, for example, like so the entire wall and everything looks nice. Instagram has become like a portfolio, right? Whereas TikTok is which is a good use for it, don't get me wrong, but you see some photographers and creatives on Instagram, they're using the whole thing as like a coordinated format, and it all looks very, very sexy, but it's not, it's not quite real as such. It's very polished and it looks great. But what you're saying is like TikTok just allows people to be a bit sillier, be a bit more real, be a bit like, release the thing. And so I found, by the way, so I think probably more relevant here is your TikTok username, which is Löfstedt, dude, right?
I appreciate that,
no worries. So shout out there to Eric. And if any of you guys are on TikTok, then give him a follow. I've got to be honest with you. I didn't get into, well, I'm still not into it. I was almost reluctant to even try it out until I downloaded it a couple of days ago because exactly like you said, I was bored. And, I still haven't, I think it's just because I'm not as creative as I think I am. I can't get the hang of these music videos and whatever else. So tell me a little bit about, because I mean, your process and your content is very, very unique. And again, I won't spoil like that surprise for anybody who wants to follow you, but like what you do is very, very unique, and it involves a lot of, again, choreography. But generally, when you're creating like a funny video or something, what do you start with? Is it like you hear a song and then you want to put moves to that song, or how does your creative process work on TikTok?
Okay, so honestly, there's a lot of ways you can go about it, but one way for sure is on TikTok, one thing that really kind of guides the content and guides the trends really is the music. So when you swipe on the homepage, honestly, you get inspiration just by the minute. It really does happen. And when you put an intention that you want to create something and get inspiration through swiping TikTok, that's when I feel you're investing your time into TikTok instead of just, on your bed spending it for 3 hours and your whole life gone. You shouldn't do that. So I like to do that. So I'll swipe TikTok. One thing for sure, I like to swipe the people that I get inspired by, and I don't just swipe the homepage, because I have to admit sometimes the homepage does give you a lot of time wasting videos, even though they are like good or bad contents. But to get inspired, you have to find the content that you like. If you're not a dancer, I am not a dancer, and TikTok, the main thing is dancing. And until today, I have made only a few. But still, whenever I see like a dancing TikTok, it doesn't, resonate with me. So I would go through videos that are more creative per se, like the ones that are like unusual. I like the unusual TikToks, and I will download them. And what I do is I'll write down notes. For example, like what song has it been that's quite viral recently? Okay, maybe do you know that song that goes like da 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 da? Do you know that
Yeah,
song?
they call it the laser, something laser, isn't it? I don't know.
I think so,
Like,
yeah. So like
mm,
what I would do is I write down the songs and I write down what people usually do with that song. And like for example, they always do this simple dance, and that's what everyone's doing. But I don't dance. That's a fact. So
but I'll be
what I
honest,
would
I'll be honest though, that dance is not like I mean, I sound like such an old git here. I sound like such a grumpy old person here. But you see that dance, and it's literally like that. I saw this one girl doing it to that song, and she just does like a da 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 da,
yeah, yeah.
and she's got 500,000 likes, and it's like
Mhm.
what? Like that's
Yeah,
not dancing. That's just like moving your arms in the air. I don't.
yeah,
I do not quite understand it.
yeah. For me, I also
Um,
it's kind of hard to understand these things about TikTok. TikTok is a very exponential platform. Some things that
yeah,
aren't
true, true,
supposed to
true.
get viral get super viral, and the things you thought would get viral don't get near the amount of views you expected to. And that's just TikTok, and you have to deal with it. I've learned to deal with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it really does feel kind of weird because you put effort, you put hours into editing, and you get like a thousand views. And then when you made a video for like 15 seconds, it gets viral.
All of a
So,
sudden, yeah.
but with that being said, one of my tips when it comes to creativity, it really is do it on the fly. Um, the thing about TikTok is the less you think, the better. I'm not saying
Yeah,
like I'm not saying it in a sense that you should make bad content by not thinking. It's
mm,
more about don't overthink it. If you have
yeah, yeah,
yeah, if you have a good idea, make it. Really, just make it. If you can make it in 5 minutes, that's the best. Do it now before you think it's a
yeah.
bad video. Post it, run away.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
look at
right.
your phone.
Run away, throw your phone away, hide under the covers, and see how it does. That's a
Yeah.
good rule. But yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, that was just one video I saw. But I like you said, I was pretty stunned by just the amount, the range of content, of styles, of um, execution, I guess we would call them if we're talking in a very studio production sense. The execution
Yeah.
on TikTok is a very, very interesting one, and you can see why it's taken off so much because people, I think, mostly is because people connect through music. So we can find something so relatable in music, and obviously different lyrics can apply to different things in different ways. Some of the way that people get creative with like everyday situations, but with the right lyrics behind them, it becomes
Yeah. Right.
something else entirely. So how long have you been on it? You said you were using TikTok when not many people were there. How long ago was that?
If you want an exact date, my
Oh
first
yeah, please.
upload should be around 2019, around February, I think,
Oh,
somewhere
okay.
around there. But then the thing is, I joined TikTok, and then I kind of put my content out, and then for a while I kind of stopped, and then I went back in when it was still kind of not there yet, just because I felt like I was missing out on something, and I felt like I had potential to do something in this app. So I with that being said, I think I've been using it for around 1 year plus at the moment. Yeah.
Interesting, but in that year, I mean, in that year, it's gone, it's gone huge, huge,
Yes.
huge, huge, and I think suddenly is probably overcoming. I haven't got the exact figures or anything, but I have no doubt that it's probably become the fastest growing social media network
Yeah.
in the world.
Totally.
Even like Facebook at its peak wasn't doing this well. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's awesome, and I think your style lends itself very nicely to what it is you're doing out there, and you can tell just how much you enjoy making these videos. Your energy is always, it's infectious. Your enthusiasm for it, and of course, like your moves are very, very impressive too.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
tell us a little bit more about your background as a whole. Like, what is it that got you to this point? Because I know that you're not just a content creator, you're also a commercial talent. So I know that that's been a part of your career so far.
Mhm.
And your background in sports and athletics, especially gymnastics, right?
Mhm.
It plays also a role in your content these days. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about you, man. Who is Eric Löfstedt? Like, where does he come from? What's he been up to?
Okay. I'll just bring you back to like the start, but I'll go through it quickly, just so I don't waste too much time. So the first thing that I did when I was young that made me become a someone. It's actually wushu. It's Chinese martial arts. So I've been doing wushu
Mm.
for about a decade plus, and that has been
Oh
the
wow.
baseline. Yeah, that has been the baseline of my athletics. So everything came from wushu. All my physique, my flips, my tumbling skills you see today, everything started from wushu. And
Wow.
um, funny story. When I wanted to join wushu, I accidentally joined it because I thought it was kung fu, and I had a mistake in my head. Just to share, but it's okay. I'll move on from that. So I started doing wushu for a long while, and I was very competitive in it. And I think that's when I learned the whole. I've learned these life skills that are about like you need to persevere. When you want something, you really have to work for it. That's when I really learned all this that brought me to video creation today. So after I did a lot of wushu, I started flipping a bit more. I had a trampoline at home and I did more tricking and parkour. I competed in parkour and tricking a lot. And I transitioned to making videos when I was actually around 15. When I was 15, I started making, how to say, fun videos at home, and I just did it purely out of passion. And one day when I was in KL, lucky for me, I got a viral video. I don't know if you know. Do you know about a video I did in Sunway University?
I can't think of the
No.
specific one. I know you've done a
Yeah.
couple of. I've seen you do like a couple of sessions, if you like, over at that part of the world, but I can't think of the specific one you mean.
Yeah, but it's okay. So the first day I
Interesting.
came to KL, I got a video in my university viral, and what happened since then was because the video was viral and the school noticed it, I got the opportunity to work with the school in creating content, and to me that was the biggest thing in my life because I've always wanted to make
Oh
videos as
wow.
a career, and I never knew where to start. And the fact that Sunway Group, not even Sunway University, would like want to work with me in videos was just crazy to me. So I took every opportunity I could. Every new season came and they wanted like a new weird video for the mascots or something. I would think of it for them. I would make it for them. And I think slowly from there, that's when my content creation happened. And that's when I just started making videos full time. I made videos for. I'm very grateful for this, and I've made videos for a lot of companies at the moment. I've dived into commercial talent too, also because of videos. Um, and commercial talent, when I was in commercial talent, it was also a very great experience because I'm a film geek. I love videography.
Mm.
Love I love the whole aspect of videos and film. And if you watch a movie with me, you'll be annoyed because I'll be talking about, oh my God, I bet this is how they shot this. I bet this is how they shot that. This is amazing. This
You're
is
that guy.
expensive. I love that. And that passion built me to
Cute.
creating today funny videos, which is really weird, I feel, because my actual passion is more on creating like professionally made videos. But I just slowly realized that sometimes life is really just about having fun and not caring too much sometimes. So I realized that, for example, on my TikTok, my short videos can really make people's days, and I find that really a powerful power if you think about it. If you're able to make some videos and you can make some people's days just change just because of a one short video, I really see potential in that, and so today I'm doing that.
Nice, man. Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I think it doesn't take much to put a smile on someone's face. It doesn't take much to change someone's day occasionally. And I think a lot of people are looking for that through social media. And actually, going back to what you said earlier, and what I like as well, I think is how, I mean, because these days there's a lot of talk, of course, about the effects of social media on mental health, right? There's a lot of talk, body image and kind of FOMO is like, we joke about it, like, oh, fear of missing out, but it's people get really, really bugged by it. So they
Yeah.
just, they look at what they think is some perfect life taking place through the screen, and they can't imagine why their life doesn't look like that, and so on. And Instagram especially, to
Yes, I
your
agree.
earlier point, is going back to that. It's become so filtered. But what TikTok is doing is bringing it back a little bit and saying, hey, I can make a fool of myself. It's okay. Let's just have a laugh. We're all human.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But I think that sounds amazing, and I think for you to get exposure to the production process at an early age is very,
Mhm.
very valuable. And again, you can tell in your videos, like the way that you film them, the angles that your camera's at, the ways that you do even your transitions. You can tell that everything is just very, very carefully thought out and planned. And the fact that you can flip off of one story ledge is just a bonus.
Please don't do
What
that
did
at
you?
home. Please don't do that at home.
Yeah, disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Yeah.
We've got a. How are you feeling to tackle some questions, Eric? We've got a couple of questions from the audience. Do you want to take a
For
couple of
sure.
those?
I love
Some
that.
good
For
ones
sure,
here.
for sure.
Mr. Noel Heng here, first of all, he's asking, do you follow the guide to control the algorithm? Like, for example, like you know those gurus who think they know about the algorithm. You know, game this and much that. Do you follow us when you're making your stuff? Do you follow a certain procedure? Do you follow a certain process, even if it's down to like whatever hashtags you use? Do you follow like do you try and game the algorithm, as it were, or do you just focus on what your content is?
For me, first, I think the most important thing is for you to find that perfect balance, especially when it's a long-term thing. Because first, just to put out some facts, most of the TikTok gurus that I've seen, they are right, but they're not completely right. The thing is, some people like to put out that they know about algorithms just to get clout. That's just a fact. That's just some people want to do that. But some are really correct, and there are some that are very, very informational. And I like to share one. For example, one thing about TikTok is if you want your video to be viral per se, you need to make sure it's a video that people will want to watch twice. If you use that mentality, trust me, your video can get up to 7, 8 digits if it goes really, really well. If not, you'll get 6 digits, because that can happen. But then one thing that I find is kind of wrong when it comes to these algorithms is that it gives people a very it's like it's telling you how to do it, and then you don't really care about the content. You just care about making people go through the algorithm so that your video is viral, even though your video might not be how to say useful for the app. And I've seen that a lot on the app, because there's a lot of ways you can how to say make your views more or get better engagement or trick people into following you. Even there really is ways like this, but ethically, is it really right? That really is for you to say if it's right or wrong. But to me, yeah, there are ways you can do it, but if you want the most ultimate way, this is gonna sound like the most cheesy thing ever, but I've been on TikTok for a while enough to be able to say this, because even the queen herself on TikTok, the main reason she is the queen is because of this. Is you just have to be yourself on TikTok and don't fake it. If people will like you and they will like your content, it will grow exponentially only if you be yourself and like create genuine content and don't fake it. It really does help.
Don't fake it.
Even have examples in Malaysia. It really does work.
Well, I mean, it seems like a good ruler. I mean, you're right. It would be easy to like. I mean, it's the same thing on Instagram. People can buy followers, buy likes, use the bots and everything, but it's not sustainable. It's not real. It's not valuable. And you're right. Just focus on building your brand, your personal image, whatever your persona, and people will come to us. But like, you're right. Don't fake it. At least until you make it. I guess okay. So maybe that. So I think you've maybe answered half of this next question already, but just as a general follow up, are there any do's or don'ts in your mind when creating TikToks, apart from the obvious like nudity, I suppose? But like what is it? What would be a good general do's and don'ts? I mean, okay, don't be fake. Don't. Do be real, don't be fake, I guess, is one which you covered. What else would you recommend if what advice would you give to a complete beginner in terms of do's and don'ts?
But okay, in general term, if we throw away all the for example, the haram things you can't do on TikTok. If you didn't know, I'll just share with you. You actually can't even smoke or vape on TikTok. Anything to do with clubbing or alcohol is not allowed. In Malaysia, we have this extra rule. It doesn't apply to Americans, but if girls were to show their cleavage to this point or somewhere here, it's actually not allowed. So I find it kind of, I don't know, there's a borderline between it, but there are those don'ts that are the more literal don'ts. But one thing for sure is TikTok is an app that is it's just there to entertain you, and it's a fun app, and it's not like a made up app. And we do see people that go onto TikTok that like they start posting things that you can see the intention behind it is not to make a TikTok. It's really just to, for example, gain their followers or like just I don't know how to properly say this in a nice way, but basically like bad posts that don't have any use for the app. If you think of it
Yeah,
as
yeah, I
if
get it.
you post this content, will it bring value to the app? Will it bring value to people? If you say yes to these two, I think it's totally okay. But if you just post something on TikTok that's just plain, not only for example useless, but it kind of does a negative to people, I don't think it should.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get you. You know, people just want to people just want to feel a part of something. People want a little bit of the attention which they see everyone else getting, but they go into it with the wrong intentions, you know, and they just
mm.
you know,
Yeah, but
there's not a very nice way of saying it often, but these are just, you know, sometimes you just got to say call them what they are, and they're just like these
yeah.
desperate trolls, you know, attention seekers, just doing it for the sake of it. Quite
Yeah, but actually one
quite
more thing,
unfortunately.
because I feel this is quite you mind if I share something right now real quick?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
This is your show,
Okay.
dude.
So I think there's been a misconception about TikTok, especially to the how to say people that are older than 30 years old. Because I don't know if you think about
Oh,
it, but
watch yourself,
people,
Löfstedt. I'm
yeah.
going to be 30 this
Oh,
year.
right,
You
right,
watch
right.
yourself.
Hey, hey, no, but okay. In general, I feel people think that TikTok is really an app that only young people can get onto and be per se successful, or whatever term you like to use. But the fact is, TikTok is really an app for anyone, and even for business owners. And there's a lot
Mm.
of good examples, and I'm gonna use this one. There's this one guy that actually has a tattoo parlor. I really forgot his name. If I can think about it, I'll write it down in the comments. But this guy, if I'm not mistaken, his story was his tattoo parlor was at the bridge of like bankruptcy and stuff like that, and he really didn't know what to do. So what he decided was he would shoot some videos of him doing his tattoo thingies with his friend in his tattoo parlor, and he kind of made it into a TikTok series. And what happened is, not only did the guy get viral on TikTok, he became known as that tattoo guy on TikTok. His business boomed, like
Blew
everything
up.
settled, everything just went
Do you,
exponential. And that is not
what
only,
was it?
sorry.
Sorry. I'll come back to that. Well,
Oh
finish
yeah.
your story.
And yeah, what I'm trying to say is that on TikTok, really, there's so much type of content that you can make that are not only entertaining, but it can also benefit you in the long run, no matter who you are. I'm a creator, and to me, when I can get people to follow me and follow my videos, and if they like my videos, that's like my ROI. But to other business owners, for example, like a tattoo parlor or someone that sells shoes, for example, there are people that just take TikTok videos, they slap on a TikTok audio beneath a TikTok. It's a 15-second video. It's like they take 4 shots of their shop and show off their expensive shoe, and they just write a very interesting, engaging caption. And when you do it right, and when you do it consistently, sometimes you really can
Mm.
just get somewhere with it, and it really changes not only businesses, it will get you what you want if you do it right and if you have the right intentions. And that's what I feel people don't know much about TikTok. Anyone can be on TikTok, really. There's people that are 80 years old that are like famous on TikTok also, and they've also helped their lives just because they got this fame on TikTok. They transferred it into something else that benefits them. It does work, and
Mm.
I think people should know that. Yeah.
So there's hope for even us 30-year-olds. Well, that's good to know. But pardon me,
You're
actually,
making it
no,
sound like you're old, bro. You're not.
I'm almost, but in fact, you literally just repeated something more or less, which someone happened to tell me like within the last week. They said the same thing. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and I said, you know what, like because again, a few of my friends have downloaded the app in lockdown, and they've put out some interesting videos, shall we say.
Interesting.
And I was like, you
Okay.
know what, I just don't get it. Like, I get how it's kind of fun and everything, but I really don't understand how people are making such like a big deal about it. Like, doesn't it just follow the same format? Isn't it just the same kind of viral songs, blah, 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 blah? And my friend said, no, because you're looking at it entirely from what you are currently seeing. You're forgetting about what you can do and make other people see. You know, like
Yeah.
I was just like reacting to what I saw on the feed and was like, funny music video, funny. I get it. What's the point? And he was like, no, like exactly as you've just pointed out. There is a platform there with a huge audience, and all you have to do is just tailor your message slightly towards that. So be proactive, not reactive, basically.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So what was it? What was it about? Do you recall? What was it about the tattoo guy that was so? I mean, was it? I mean, I'm sure he's a great tattoo artist, but what was it he doing on specifically within TikTok? Was it like his captions, or was he doing like tattoo? Like was he like doing the needles to the music or something? Like how was he
Um,
TikTokifying his stuff?
okay. So how he angled this is actually a really good lesson for a lot of people if they want to join TikTok. Is that he showed people what people don't see every day. So imagine right now if you were to go into a tattoo parlor, if you were to go to get a tattoo and you come out of it, you probably seen 20% of what happens in a tattoo parlor shop, right? So what they do is they kind of and make a skit out of what happens in the tattoo parlor shop. So, for example, I remember one specifically. He made a skit of someone coming in of the tattoo parlor shop saying he wants this tattoo to be covered up on his very, very bad tattoo that looked like it looked terrible. And then they
Garbage.
garbage. And they had to react nicely. And then after he went out, they would like, how to say, they showed
Yeah, there
what they
was
would
like.
say afterward. Yeah. And they would show
Got it,
these
got it.
very relatable things that you don't see every day. And I feel these are the things that people want to see on TikTok. It's things you really don't see every day that's really like, oh, wow, I didn't know that happened. That's cool. Especially if you're like
Yeah.
a person that likes tattoos, that you probably find it more interesting. I'm not a tattoo guy. I would like to have a tattoo one day, but I still find it interesting. Yeah.
One day, yeah. Yes, you've got a while yet. I think you've got plenty of years to grow into your first tattoo. You'll find it. Maybe it'll be Maybe it'll be like a I mean, I think with what you've been up to recently, I think it'll be a Spider-Man tattoo. And
That would be
anybody who's
really cool. That would be really
anybody
cool.
who's anybody who follows Eric on TikTok or Instagram for that matter will know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think a Spider-Man tattoo would be pretty cool. I think you'd pull that one
Yeah.
off. One of the few people that could. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what would your then? I mean, we've covered a bit of this already, I think, but like we said, there is beauty in the everyday, right? There is always something to be found. There's something relatable, and I think this is why. I mean, you're probably too young to remember Vine. Do you know? Do you even know what
Miss
Vine
Vine
is?
so much, man.
Oh,
No,
you
no,
missed
I
Vine. You
love
used
Vine.
Vine.
I love Vine. Vine was the thing, really. Oh my
Vine was
god.
the thing. I think, and Vine was what started this journey of like just kind of just like random, wacky, everyday content. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, so what would your advice be to somebody who wanted to have a go at TikTok, but like honestly had no idea where to begin? Like, okay, for example, would you say go and check out a few of the viral challenges, like the silly dances, and try and do one of those and get used to how this thing works? Or very much would it be just do your own thing, find something funny like in your everyday life and work backwards from that?
Okay, to me, firstly, I would say is the first thing I like to think about is first, what value can you bring? What's that different thing or something that you know
Mm.
you can show to the world that people will enjoy or at least get educated on? It really depends what you can share on the app. But by the end of the day, even personality can sell on TikTok because there are some people that really people just like them for who they are, and that is amazing. It really is amazing to see that on an app. So how I would think of it is first what you can provide to the app. Is there anything new you can share on the app? Is there something you do every day that you know people have never really seen before, but it will be quite cool to shoot it in a 15-second video? You should do it. You really, really should. Secondly, what I would do is on TikTok, music is quite important, I'd say. So I would recommend at least kind of I mean, if you have TikTok, I assume you would have already maybe swiped it for an hour at least already. But if you haven't, at least get used to how TikTok feels, because you know how
Mm.
every app has like you get an energy off that app, and you kind of after watching a few TikToks, you'll kind of get how people shoot TikToks, for example. So after you got a little bit of the knowledge there, just honestly just shoot whatever you think is good and post it, and do not delete it. Really, just not there's nothing wrong about posting something on TikTok and it doesn't get views. Even today, I still have videos that don't get a lot of views, and I don't delete it. I have a lot of friends that do delete it, but I don't recommend it at all because by the end of the day, you just want to share something on TikTok. It's not about looking
Mm.
perfect. It's not about looking like, oh my god, I'm really famous and I only have millions of views per video. It really doesn't matter. If you're really you want to share something on TikTok, just share whatever you think is right. And if it is right, eventually one day you will catch on to the traction, and maybe one day you'll get a viral video, because you really never know when you'll get it. A viral video, you can get it any day. I actually have a friend that she's in my friend group, and she didn't do TikToks at all. And one day she did this TikTok with her mother. It was do you know about these TikToks that are like put your hands down if you're something, put your hands down if you're something? You know about that?
I've seen a couple of these, yeah, and people are trying to get to a high number or something.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
It's
Yeah.
no, it's more like it's like a never have I ever, and you have to put your fingers down,
Oh,
but the
right.
audio
Okay.
is already pre-recorded. So my friend was just having fun vibing on TikTok, and one day she decided to do this challenge with her mom. And what happens was her video got, at the moment, probably 1 million, 2 million views already. And it's just I think just a one take video of her just never have I ever with her mom, and her mom had hilarious reactions, and I loved that video. It was so wholesome. And you never know. I don't think she thought the video would get viral, but the thing is, when you just post out things that you feel like doing, you think is right, one day it will happen. It really will, because that's how it started for me. I don't think you know how I started TikTok, right? Like, what are the videos I posted
No.
first? Yeah, so
No.
yeah, so if you didn't know, my first 9 videos were posted in the span of an hour, and how I did it,
Wow.
yeah. And dude, the thing is, I just took my Insta stories. So I shot nothing. Everything that I posted at the start was just to test what can TikTok do. So I would
So
take my
you didn't edit, you didn't like, sorry, you didn't edit it, you didn't like edit it at TikTok. You just reposted your Instagram stories.
The thing is, when
Or,
the first time I joined TikTok, I had no idea how do I use TikTok,
mm,
bro. So what I did was
sounds like me.
I slapped on a video. I tried to find a good sounding audio, and that's all I did. I wrote some random captions and I posted it. I just spammed. I was like lying down on like a carpet or something, and I was just spamming. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's wait a few hours and see what happens. And what I realized is that, wow, there's one video that worked, 5 videos that had no views, and there's a few videos that had like 10 views. And I was like, cool. At least I had one video that worked. Why don't I post more videos that are like that? And that's what I did.
Mm.
So eventually I started TikTok as a sports influencer. Actually, TikTok reached out to me just to be a sports influencer before I'm just an influencer now. But back then I would post purely like flips, parkour, my workouts, anything related to that. And it worked. Eventually it really worked. It's just about
So,
posting. Yeah.
okay,
Sorry.
so yeah, so I forgot to mention, so you're an official TikTok creator now, right? Like you're an official
Yeah.
associate of the app, right? So tell me a little bit about how that works. Like at what point did they reach out to you? Like was it when you hit a certain number of followers or like a certain number of views, or like how did that process look like for you?
So for me, first thing, okay, let me just double think right now in case I share some things that I can share. Okay, but
Mhm.
okay, so when I joined TikTok, I was a sports influencer, and when they reached out to me, I don't think I was very famous at all. I don't even think I had like 10,000 followers or anything close to that. But what they saw in my videos was because I flipped and I did these extreme stunts that people don't do in Malaysia a lot. So I think that was what helped me a lot at the start. So I got joined into this TikTok sports influencer group, and there was people that were basketballers, there were karate people, there were people that they were workout people. There were quite a lot of people that did workout videos, which were really cool, to be honest. And I think do you know who's Peter Hugh Davis?
Yeah, MMA guy.
Yeah, even
But
today
yeah, but
he's in our TikTok sports group. So I joined into that group, and then I was
oh,
like,
okay.
wow, okay, I'm a sports influencer, and I just started collabing with them a little. We got to meet up a few times, and I would make a lot of sports content. But now, for now at least, I am more of just an influencer. I'm not focused on the sports, and also I have a group which you probably know about that, right? Do you know about my TikTok group?
Yeah, yeah. It's called it's like the Malaysian TikTok something, right? Like all of you guys. You had like a meetup quite recent. You had like a virtual meetup I saw. I think it was quite recently, and you had like a big meetup like before MCO was
Yeah,
in
we did
effect. Is that
that.
right?
We had a meetup 2 days ago, online meetup. Yeah, but
Mm.
so afterwards I became like a TikTok influencer, and Honestly, I'm not too sure how much I can share about what happens within. So I'm just gonna make sure that I say the right things now. So
Yeah,
excuse me
yeah,
if I
sure. Of
mistake.
course, we can't ask you to spill the secrets. It's just
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
interesting how proact is interesting because obviously, I mean, Instagram have like the verification process and everything else, but it's interesting to hear how TikTok, actively approach like collaborators, co-creators, and so on and so forth. But don't give away anything that you can't. I won't ask you
yeah,
to
yeah.
share any
Just in case,
industry
just in case. I
secrets.
don't wanna.
Yeah, yeah, of course. It's interesting though. So I mean, so what do you think? I mean, it's still pretty. I mean, like you said, you were on it about this just over a year ago. Your first post, February 2019. At that point, there really weren't nearly as many people on the app as there are now, and these days it's exploded. So still very early, or relatively early days. But where do you see, firstly, yourself and TikTok as a whole? Where do you see like the direction of this app, and what is it that you want to do next with your content? Is there anything that you want to try and achieve once we get out of this lockdown period? Is there anything, any kind of new I don't know, new videos, new styles, new challenges you want to set yourself to create?
Yeah. So first, I think I'll just share what I think TikTok, what will happen with TikTok in this year. I think TikTok will have a really big chance of outgrowing Instagram because at the moment the pace of it is faster than Instagram. But the thing is, we don't know what
Mm,
will happen at the end. So I find it really interesting. I believe, personal opinion, that TikTok will take over Instagram in terms of user amount and popularity. I really think so. But the problem with TikTok at the moment, at least, which they have kind of overcame, is that 1 year ago, TikTok was this app that people said, "Ew, it's a cringe app. Ew, why are you on that app? You, what, you're wasting your time on that." And today, it is less like that. There are still people that do that. There are still, honestly, I have to admit, TikTok still has a lot of these cringy videos. Let's just say cringy. There still are these
mm,
type of videos. But when you look at TikTok as a whole, when you look at the benefits of TikTok and what TikTok can provide, it really can do a lot more at the moment than Instagram has, than Instagram can in the future. That's what I really believe.
yeah, very true, very
Yeah.
true.
So,
But
and then you
I
asked,
think it's the same.
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh no, no. Because you asked, and then what I think I would do in 1 year. So do you want me to share that now?
Yeah. Please, I'm curious because I mean you're a busy guy as it is, so, and I'm curious to understand. And you've got a very distinct and very impressive style, and I'm wondering whether you want to keep pushing with that, or maybe you want to try something new. What are your plans for the next year or so?
So because I'm actually mainly focused on more Instagram, and at the moment, yeah, I'm very focused on TikTok. I see myself becoming I mean, at the moment, I consider myself a full-time content creator, but I know there's still
Hmm.
a lot of stages you can go, and you can still up your level. You can still make better content. So to me, at least, I see myself making more exciting, more fun content together with a team in the future, and we
Hmm.
can kind of like, how to say, work together in creating content that just makes people's day, but as a team. And and when it comes to TikTok, if you want just straight numbers, I actually told myself that this year I would like to hit 1 million followers. And I say that casually as a joke, but at the same time, it kind of, I believe it
It's
will
kind
happen.
of
I
real. I
really
mean,
think it will happen. So
you're well over 500,000 followers on TikTok now, which is pretty impressive. So again, anybody
uh,
watching this, tuning in at home, let's help Eric get to 1 million. Follow him, and if you
thank
haven't got the app, download it just so you can follow him. Löfstedt dude, right down below.
you.
You're currently at 564,000, which is an
Really?
absurdly high number. So congratulations, yeah,
Wow.
really, man. You've got
I
almost
didn't
10
even
million
know
likes,
564.
over
Wow.
500,000 followers. You got to change. Yeah, your bio still says your goal is 500K. So you got to change that, dude. You got to set it to 1 million.
Thank you for telling me that. I have not realized that things go so fast that you're
That's all
right.
right.
You're
I've got.
actually right.
It's our job to stalk people like you. So don't you worry, Eric. I know
Yeah,
how
yeah.
many people you've got.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's very very interesting. And but yeah, back to your point about TikTok being so cringy, and yeah, I mean a little bit. I think for especially for those of us who don't yet understand it, but also I mean, Christ, I had to delete my old Twitter account because I couldn't bear what I was tweeting from back in 2013, 2014. You know, same like Instagram, every platform, people are going back to like old Facebook statuses, like, oh Jesus, you know, like everything. Any like MySpace, I had to delete that. A couple actually I've had to delete because I used to be the cringiest teenager around. So I mean, it happened. It's just part of the growth process, you know. Like it's just part of like people exploring like their creative side, they're figuring out how the platform works, what the functions are, like how best to. You know, not everything is going to be good. Not everything is going to be polished and perfect. You know, sometimes we've got to really like churn out the crap stuff to come up with the good stuff. You know, and know which is which. So I think it's an interesting perspective, and you're right. I think the potential for TikTok, like based on the platform that it gives people and the audience that it has already, and just there are so many little things, and even like I understand even from like an artist's perspective, like from talking music artists, like because TikTok is one of the few, if not right now, like the only mainstream one. I guess Instagram Music is available in some places, but we don't get it in Malaysia. But TikTok globally makes a load of popular chart songs available, right, to use in music. And so like it's given artists an incredible opportunity for exposure as well. So you look at it from many different perspectives. There's brands who are going to shift maybe their budget from Instagram to TikTok and so on, and there's obviously creators themselves, there's artists and otherwise, and there's a lot of people who I think can really benefit from the attention that this app is getting. And I think and the authenticity of it all, like that core value, hopefully will never go away, because that's something that people will always connect with and resonate with.
I agree. I totally agree on that.
So cool.
That's the best part about TikTok.
Okay. We've got about 10 minutes left of the session, by the way. So any viewers at home watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you have any comments for Eric, get them down below and we will try and answer those before the time is up. But Eric, I want to spend at least the next 5 minutes before we get to any Q&A just asking you, on a personal level, because I know that this is something quite important to you personally as well. And that is like your mental process in staying motivated. You know, I know that you're a very positive guy. You've always got a smile on you. You're always very energetic, and it's great. You have an infectious kind of happiness about you. It's wonderful. But you touched on earlier how, of course, this lockdown hit you, pretty hard, and I'm not surprised with a gig like Coachella going down. But I know that I know that staying motivated and the process of being motivated and getting motivated is one which you hold very close to your heart. So what is it you want to share with the audience right now? For those watching at home, like how do you stay focused, stay energized, stay positive, stay motivated? What is it for you that keeps you going?
Okay, so to me, it all comes back to one main thing that I feel that I have really built in myself, which also came from martial arts, is really just believing in yourself. And I don't mean it in a very cheesy way. I mean it in a very, very practical way. So, for example, if we were to think about TikTok, for example, like the thought process when it goes through you making a TikTok will be, I want to make a video. Oh, wait, no, it's going to be cringy. I don't know how to make a TikTok. I probably shouldn't do it. But the thing is, like, when you do things, it's very important for you to just do it and just believe what you have, do it. If it's wrong, learn from it and go on. And that process has really helped me, especially as being a content creator, to grow in these few years. Because when I started becoming a content creator, it was at 2017. That's when I officially just started, for example, working, per se, making videos, working, however we say the word. But one thing that really drive me throughout, especially at this period, is just you need to remember that you really can do some certain things. It's really just in your mind. And one thing that's really important that you actually just shared just now is about being proactive. And I think this trait hasn't been shared enough to people, because if you are proactive, it really just helps you in your career just by like tenfold. It really just does. Because if you are proactive, it means you can be the first one to do something, and not only that, you'll be the leader to do something, because you're the one that wants to do something. And if you start by being proactive, everything just snowballs. It just helps you, and eventually things will happen. I want to share one experience with you. Is that about
Please.
because I'm also a performer, right? And now I don't perform that much. But one of the biggest lessons I learned when it comes to performing is that you really have to believe in yourself. Because when I started doing these performances, musical thingies, um, I never wanted to really do it because I thought, oh my god, you're in diploma, you just barely started. Why do you want to actually make something? But then I don't know what came into my mind. I just said, you know what? Just try it, and then you'll see what happens. And eventually, you'll learn from it. Something will happen. And what happened was, not only did the first performance I did was all right. It wasn't the best. It was all right. But because I did the first performance, it kind of snowballed and brought me to doing jobs and performances. I actually got the end of my performance career, not really the end, but the thing I'm most proud of is actually I was able to choreograph the mascots for Genting. So
Oh, wow.
and to me that really gave me a very solid statement in my life, because like I would not think that me, and just to put a fact out there, just for you guys to know, I am not the best dancer at all. I am not the best performer at all. I am just an average, I'd say I'm an average guy that just likes to try. And the fact that an average guy that likes to perform and tries, and you can reach a certain somewhere, I believe there's so much more potential when it comes to people out there, especially people that are actually good in it. Because what I see is people that are actually good in something is the people that will shoot them down the hardest. They are the ones that don't believe in themselves the most. They're always. I've just realized this throughout my life as being a creative, and I feel like this is very important for people to know. Yeah.
Nice, nice, and what and what a very, if I may say, what a very very mature philosophy for such a relatively young man. I won't call you a
Relatively,
kid,
yeah, man.
but
No
a
worries.
relatively.
Don't mind being
Well,
here.
you're out here making even me feel old, Eric. So I do what I can. But no, that's very.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
I've got to say, without being patronizing, of course, it's very very like impressive and refreshing. I think to hear such a well balanced and mature philosophy. And I think you're right. A lot of people, even twice my age, have forgotten that, I think. And a lot of people maybe want things to happen without doing anything for them and things like that. Some people just need to learn to trust the process a little bit more, perhaps, I think, and just have that courage and the conviction to do what you know is right. And bit by bit, you build upon that and it will take you somewhere. And even like you said, even going back to like creating content for TikTok, if you do what you believe is right and good, and it vibes with your energy, your attitude, your own personality, that's much better for you than just buying likes and trying to game the algorithm, right? So
Yeah.
you apply that to life. Stop trying to game the algorithm of life and just be yourself, be your authentic self.
I like that. I
All
like
right,
that.
I'm gonna get that printed somewhere. Maybe I'll wear a T-shirt. Maybe
Framed
that'll
in
be
the
my first.
background.
Yeah, man. Hey, maybe that'll be my first TikTok video. Maybe I'll create like a little like track to that.
Yeah.
I'll come up with some inspirational lines.
Yeah. Right.
Interesting. So, yeah, we've got a couple of minutes here, guys. One question. One question, guys, because Eric, your name is a little bit unusual, if I may say, for someone who hails from this part of the world. So we've got one question, one person asking here quite simply, whereabouts are you from, Eric? And so tell us a little bit about that, your background, your personal background, your family background.
Yeah, so I'm actually mixed Malaysian and Swedish. So to be exact, I'm half Swedish and half
Yes.
Malaysian Chinese. So my dad's Swedish and my mom's Malaysian Chinese, which is why you get this half kind of muka. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
what I am.
the European jawline. Have you been over there yourself? Have you spent much time in Europe?
No, not really, but I do go back every 3 4 years. So last year was the last
Oh,
time
nice.
I went back to Sweden, and I guess I'll
Oh,
have to
very
wait
cool.
for Corona to go away before I can go back.
Let's hope so. Or the krona, you should say. Isn't that the Swedish currency? Sounds a lot like that.
True, yeah, but yeah,
There's one, but I mean that's just that's one part of your international experience. But there is one thing I want to touch on just before we wrap up, and that is something which I think our viewers will be very interested to hear about. Is that you have
Okay.
spent some time in a film industry, which is
Oh, yeah.
which is well, the biggest in the world, but not one that you might expect you've had involvement in. So please tell us about your experience in that.
Yeah, so Bollywood, right? Okay. So
Hollywood.
yeah, so around a year ago, I was fortunate enough to actually get into two Bollywood movies, and we had quite a very long shooting process. And I was one of the main stunt actors for the movie. If you guys do know Bollywood, I was actually the what's it called? So the main bad guy was Thakur Anup Singh. You can search him up. He is apparently, and I didn't know honestly, he is the bad guy of India. And he's also like this Mr. Olympia kind of guy. He's very muscular. He's like twice my size. He's crazy big. So when I got to do this Bollywood thing, it was very a different experience for me because I I don't think I look mean. I don't think I look like a fighter. You know what I mean? And the thing that helped out with me is because of my flips. And if you guys do know, Bollywood has a lot of these exaggerated flips. People punch you in the face, you do a backflip,
Oh, yeah.
you fall on the ground. And,
Yeah,
and just to share
I've
with you
seen
guys
those.
from experience, there's so many scenes where you have to do this. I got punched in the I had an uppercut to my chin. I mean, it's a fake one, but I had to do this backflip and just fall flat on concrete.
Oh, that sounds, yeah, I
Yeah,
know the
but
move. That sounds painful.
yeah, it is a very very interesting experience to work with these production crew. They're really experienced. They even have their own, what's it called, wires. So some of us will get
Oh,
strapped
oh.
up to wires, and the bad guy would kick us, and we would have like armor inside of our shirts, and we'd fly like 10 meters, and we have to fall down and look like we are in pain. But one thing that I really got from this Bollywood experience is that it really when it comes to this acting and what's it called, acting and stunt acting, it's again, it comes back to the whole believing in yourself. Because I never thought I would get into this, especially with I personally think I look kind of like a kid as compared to other people that look like fighters and stuff like that. But what it is when you really want to try out something, and if you really want to get into it bad enough, you really can, but you just have to try and believe in yourself. And eventually, you might even land onto a role that suits you perfectly. And to me, that's exactly what happened. I would not have expected myself to get into Bollywood at all. And one day I'm just beside this main actor and dying beside of him, which is still a really cool thing, to be honest.
That is
I am
probably I think, I don't know,
proud.
man. That's pretty cool. That's the bad guy of India, and you're dying a
Yeah,
heroic death alongside him. Like, roll with that. You'll look back on that in 50 years and be like, yeah, I did
yeah,
that. That was me.
that will forever
Or
be
hey,
my.
maybe even before then you'll be starring in a Bollywood movie. Although I guess maybe you're not quite Bollywood enough. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how many half Swedish people have starred in Bollywood movies before, but maybe you'll be the first. Who knows?
maybe if I want it bad enough.
That's that's a trivia. That's gonna be the answer to a trivia question one day. Who is the first half Swedish person to appear in a Bollywood movie? And it's gonna
And we can
be
bring up this video right
who is the
here.
first who is the first person to reach 50 million TikTok followers and star in a Bollywood movie? This guy. Also, this guy. I've got to plug your handle.
Appreciate that. That would be really cool. Wow.
And that'd be
Well,
awesome.
maybe one day
All
it'll
the
happen.
best with that jet. Maybe one
Yeah,
day. Dream it, believe it, achieve it, right? Well, I think that's how the saying goes.
yeah.
Anyway, okay, man. I think that we didn't get any more questions at the very end of that, but no worries because I think we
Yeah,
have
no
to wrap
worries,
up
no
the
worries.
session anyway. We're just out of time. But look, Eric, thank you firstly, my friend, so much for coming on and speaking to us and for giving up your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I know that those among us who are closer to my age and above than yours are very, very grateful for the 101 the TikTok tutorial you've given us in this app. So I think maybe you've encouraged a few more downloads tonight. So I know I'm going to go and try and get to grips with it myself. So thank you for sharing those insights. And
No
guys, by
problem,
the
no
way,
problem.
anyone watching on Facebook, we're putting a survey in the comments beneath the video. So do let us know what you thought of the session and give us your feedback and comments there, please. Down below.
Yeah,
That way.
somewhere.
That way.
I think it's that side. Yeah.
That's the one. Thank you, Eric. So look, thank you again for joining us, and you
No
stay
problem.
safe. You stay sane, of course. Keep your chin up, stay positive and motivated, and hopefully,
Yeah.
hey, who knows? Maybe by the time this is over, I'll be so into TikTok that you and I can collaborate on a video at some point when we finally leave the
We can
house. That
collaborate
could be
right now
fun.
if you want to, man.
Oh, Challenge accepted. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
sure, man.
Stay tuned, viewers at home, for the next installment of What the Hell is Jacob Doing on TikTok? That could be a whole damn series. But for now, Eric, we'll say thank you again and good night. You be well, stay safe, and take care. And we'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. For
Thanks,
sure.
man.
See you, man.
Well, there we go, the wonderful Mr. Eric Lau Löfstedt. And again, it's I got to say, it's incredibly refreshing and inspiring even to see such a mature and wise head on such young shoulders, of course, bearing a lot of potential for the future. So I can't wait to see what Eric's coming up with. I know he's part of a very, very exciting, I guess you could call it a movement here in Malaysia, where a group of like the best and biggest content creators in the business are gathering together to collaborate on platforms such as TikTok and come up with some really, really exciting stuff, which is leaving all of us millennials behind in the dust. So I think I know my task for tonight, and that is to get more familiar with the app. So this I'm about to call him a kid, that's rude. So this young man doesn't completely leave me behind and make me feel old. So that's going to be me, and that's all for us for tonight. But join us again tomorrow, where we have 2 sessions coming up. At 5 p.m, the MMA and kickboxing superstar Andy Tay is joining us for a live workout. So don't miss that, 5 p.m. on ALYFE Connect. And if you haven't registered for ALYFE Connect, please do so via the ALYFE group page. It is the private group where you can access sessions like this and many, many more. These evening entertainment sessions are just a taster of what's going on in the private group, so please register for that for full access, free access if you haven't already. And then at 8 p.m, we have a very special treat, and that is we are being joined by Miss Malaysia herself, Alexis Sue Ann, who will be coming along to tell us all about her pageantry journey and some insights behind the curtain of the industry. And that'll be hosted by Chloe Chen. So that promises to be a wonderful session hosted by 2 wonderful ladies. So come back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Until then, stay safe and take care. Good night.